Hey, how's it going, folks? My name's Matthew, aka EZBOT, and we're back with another live stream like we do every Tuesday on the EZBOT channel here. Today, what I want to talk about is sampling. I want to talk about the DIgitakt in particular because it is my favorite sampler that I own by a long shot. But what I like to do with it is sample chords from the synthesizers that I buy. And that's one of my favorite things to do with the DIgitakt. And that's kind of what I want to get into today. And there's another trick that I've come across, which is sampling arpeggios, like arpeggios. I was going to say arpeggiated chords, but that's what an arpeggio is. Sampling arpeggios, like a bunch of higher notes in an arpeggiated chord, and then slowing that down to half speed so it still stays in time. And I want to show you what that sounds like. We haven't done it yet, so I'm going to do it with you. It's a really great trick, and I've used it several times to make like some housey, dancey tracks, which is something that I really enjoy making. I already have a chord progression in my DIgitakt that I sampled from this white synthesizer I have right here, the King Korg. And it's like a very 90s sounding synthesizer, lots of voices, lots of different sounds you can get from it. Great for making drum and bass. I'd recommend this for like a drum and bass synthesizer. Anyhow, we're gonna play with that, play with these ideas, and hopefully make some music by the time we're done with this stream. Today's stream is also sponsored by our Lord and Savior DistroKid, who helps pay for these streams, and we're just very grateful for that. DistroKid is an online music distribution platform that helps you get your music out to all the streaming services, even though those streaming services are probably not going to give you any money at all for your hard work. That sucks, but at least DistroKid's going to help people listen to your music. That's the part that's important. We want people to enjoy our music. Having an audience is great. So let's go ahead and switch over to the top-down perspective so we can take a look at what we got on the table. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, Harry? Welcome to the stream. Yep, we got the same stuff that I have on the table all the time, and that's because this is the gear that I consider essential or the best, and also what I can fit under this screen so that I can stream and make music here. The other piece of kit that I use often, my other favorite samplers, besides the Octatrack, of course, which I do use as a sampler in my music production, but typically for sampling loops and doing transitions and making effects. But my other favorite sampler is the Dirty Wave M8, which is competing for like my favorite spot in music gear right now with the DIgitakt. So those two, very, very strong competitors for top spot in my favorite piece of music production gear. DIgitakt has been number one for a very long time. It's pretty wild that there's anything that can even compete with it, in my opinion. So, right, let's just jump right into it. Okay, let's waste no time. Let's go right into this. I have this sampled chord progression. Let's make sure you guys can hear this. It's like that is slightly quiet. Let's get like a... Okay. So here you can listen to the chord progression. So this is the chord progression that I have in here. Just some chords that I played with some of the pad, one of the pad presets. I don't even remember if I made the pad or not, but it doesn't matter. I grabbed one of the pad sounds from the synthesizer over here and I sampled it into my DIgitakt. Very easy to do. The DIgitakt makes sampling so easy. You go into the sampling menu, you hit yes, it waits for a sound to come in, and then it triggers the sampling, and you can set a quantized length right there. Pretty great. Makes sampling incredibly simple and straightforward. Unlike something like the Octatrack, which sampling could be a little bit tougher. This sampler over here, the Chaos Replay, it has a similar sampling function. So the M8, the DIgitakt, and the Replay all have that threshold recording. I'm sure the MPC does too. I don't own one, but I imagine it does too. And it is now something that I'm so spoiled by. I want all of my hardware devices to have the sampling threshold. Because it just speeds up the whole process of sampling so much. It just makes it such a nicer experience as opposed to having to do these timing-based sampling workflows like you do with the Octatrack. You use a one-shot recording trig, or you set up the recorder to start at the beginning of a pattern and last for the pattern length or a quantized step length. You can do the quantized step-like recording here as well, which is awesome and really great for resampling. We'll probably talk about that today too. But it's just nice. You know, I like that they both offer what they offer, the Octatrack and the DIgitakt, but the DIgitakt, as far as the sampling workflow goes, it's definitely a faster and more intuitive experience. So I think from a new user standpoint, you're just going to get the sampling over here, and over here you're going to want to get it and then feel like it's misbehaving or something, just as a new user's perspective. But somebody who's been playing with the Octatrack for a long time knows it's an amazing sampler and it does a great job. But the DIgitakt still is my favorite just because of the streamlined process. So the first thing we're going to do with these chords, just right off the bat, is some old school techniques, some stuff that I was doing before the DIgitakt came out with these new machines. And often it was using LFOs in the start position of samples. And this is some of my favorite stuff to do in samplers, and it still is some of my favorite techniques with the DIgitakt. Because the machines, they have their own thing that they do, their own timbre, their own experience of you messing with these samples. So the first thing we're gonna do is just fill the whole grid with trigs, and we'll talk about why this works. And this is kind of like the fidelity or the grains, so to speak, in your samples. So I have four bars now just filled with trigs, and if I hit play, let's move the start position. Let's give it a little bit of attack so we remove any nasty transients. So these are these chords just being triggered over and over again. And it sounds awesome. Just this sounds really cool. I could just take these trigs and like move through the 4 pages here and just change the start position on each page and make a chord progression out of the chords, but with these really fast triggers. And that would be something great in itself. But what's even more fun than that is going into your LFO and setting your sample start time to your LFO. And it's already set to a triangle here. You could use a sine. Either one is going to work great. Sine might be more fun for us here. And we'll just leave it on free running and see how that sounds. And now this is going to be kind of a granular workflow for our samples, just by doing this simple procedure here with our LFO to the start position. Let's just hit play. And there, it's created a rhythm for us. Now we have this thing. It was just random, but it works. Let's explore a little bit. Now it's bouncing between 2 chords. That's dope. What if we filter it? Let's give it a bunch of reverb. Make sure this reverb's gigantic. Give it some delay. Listen to that. In no time at all, I'm in a place where I feel inspired, right? I feel like that could be the beginning of our track. And now I can go play on the Syntakt, or I can start sampling another synthesizer. Right now I have the Syntakt set up to sequence this King Chord Neo. It's a digital sounding synthesizer, but it's because it is digital. Right? This sounds really cool. It's really lovely. And if we had used our second LFO, we could actually start modulating the first LFO. So this would be considered phase modulation, if we modulate the phase, of course, which we could do. So we could start seeing what happens. Let's modulate the start phase, do some LFO phase modulation. I think we have to offset this phase for it to really make a difference. It does nothing. Looks like the phase makes no adjustment to this rhythm that it's creating. Let's modulate something else here. Yeah, we'll try the waveform. Now we get some new rhythms. I like this rhythm. Like, this sounds cool to me. Let's keep exploring. We don't want to just stay like, oh, we found something nice. Let's stick with it. Let's see what else we can find. Might be a cool way to start like some like minimal or dubby track. I just want to make something soothing today. I feel like I need something soothing. It's been a crazy week. I like these shorter decays. Wish it was just chromatic. That's nice. I love like it's like semi-repeating, and then there's some spots where it kind of changes. Probably because a lot of the LFO shapes that I'm modulating the shape of the first LFO, which is what's moving the start position around in the sample, and maybe what would make sense is that those other LFO shapes, they're really similar to each other, right? They're mostly doing the same thing. The triangle and the sine wave, for sure, they're very, very similar. So I can imagine we're gonna get some similar textures from a couple of the LFO shapes, but then there's some that'll be completely whack, like the random LFO, of course. What if we just throw some kicks down? Let's just... Yeah, I think that's the kind of speed we want to move at today. Okay. Like, this is lovely. This is definitely the tone that I want to set for myself today. Because, man, I just like woke up this morning, had all this anxiety. I was like, I don't want to do anything today. Then I sat down with some of my music gear and started finding some sounds that were nice, a little bit meditative. Took the dog for a walk. Here we are. Feeling a bit of the soothe as we speak. That's even too fast. All right, I feel like we're off to a lovely start so far, right? And this is why I love samplers so much. Let's just get back to that topic. Samplers are the best thing ever, right? Samplers, they truly are the best. If somebody was like, you get a pick, you have a synthesizer, multi-timbral synthesizer, it's got drums in it, basically a Syntakt. There's many other devices that are multi-timbral synthesizers. And if somebody was like, you have to pick forever. You get a sampler or you get the synthesizer that has a bunch of voices and polyphony and all of that. I choose the sampler. I'm always going to go with the sampler. I love the idea that samplers are these chameleon devices, that they can be anything you want them to be, that they can make your instruments have a purpose, which I find that I'm struggling with all the time, right? Many of us do that have been into like hardware, electronic music for years, right? We've accumulated this massive wealth of gear in our studios because, there's new stuff coming out, and this is what we do. This is our hobby. It's like, for me, it's like this, and I'll buy games on Steam and then never play them. And that continues to be the same thing that I've done for years. But I also buy a lot of gear and then play with it for like a day or two. And then I'm like, oh, it doesn't scratch the itch as much as my favorite stuff does. And it sits there. Samplers help me get that piece of gear out and get it into my studio because I can sample it, and then it's in here, and then I gave it some value. I feel like I'm ranting right now about that, but it's just so important to me. They're so useful. Needs a thick bass. The track that we're starting, it does need a thick bass. So there's a couple practices I like to think about when I'm programming bass lines. This has popped in my head recently from doing some private lessons. And we're talking about programming cool bass lines. And I am a guitar player and a bass player and whatever. My point is that I come from a place often in my head where I'm thinking about it like I'm writing a song, like a chord progression. So the bass lines are usually something that would mimic a chord progression as opposed to like the unlimited options that we have with electronic hardware. And an analogy I like to use in my head for trying to get out of that perspective is thinking of the kick drum and the bass as the same instrument, that they like trade off playing with each other. They either play at the same time or they avoid each other. And I felt like when I like stick to these ideas, they really help me formulate a song. So I can do whatever I want, of course, but I like having these molds to start with, and then I can break them as I'm working through the track, but like just to give me a place to get a motif, as you will. So I was thinking for this one, it might be kind of cool to copy where I put the kick drums, and we'll put the notes down on the same spot, and we'll just use the exact same pattern from our kick drum pattern on our bass synthesizer on the Syntakt. Then we're going to do some more chord destruction sampling, because I want to sample some arpeggios and show you what it's like to slow down arpeggios, because I think it sounds really cool, and I think it would sound great as a melody here. So we could make we'll sequence an arpeggio from the Syntakt, sample it into the DIgitakt, and then slow it down to half speed. But we'll do that in just a little bit. So let's do this really quick. So I'm just going to go over here and just put these triggers down in the same spot. Let's just make sure where it's... Oh, I don't want to be at infinite. Hang on a sec. Why am I should have went the other direction. Duh. All right, I like to work in 8 bars, so that's what we're going to do. Get out of here. Okay. So this one, I do want this track. Do we want... I could double up the bass lines. Then I gotta do... Let's just program it the way it is right here first. Even though I do think an 8-bar bass line would probably sound better here. See if I kick myself for doing this later. So I'm going 64, half scale, 128 steps to give myself 8 bars of sequencing, which will give me 8th step resolution on the sequencer as opposed to the 16th step resolution you typically have if you're going 1-to-1. When you change your scale multiplier here, this changes the resolution of your step sequencing. However, you can still sequence at 16th note resolution by putting a trigger down and using your microtiming to move over 32 one direction or 32 another direction. That will give you the 16th note that's in between these 8th notes. So if you still want to get access to that, this is how you do it. But then you kind of sacrifice being able to put it on that perfect 8th note setting that would be step 3 or 4 or whatever. You follow? So since we're doing it at half resolution here, it would go here, and that would be in between. So I think it would go here and then microtime forward. Let's see. Might be easier if I just live play it in. That's probably what I'll end up doing. Whoa, I actually kind of like that, and it isn't on it. Happy accidents. That is actually dope. Let's change that note. I do, why? This is I just said what I was going to do, and then I listened to this, and now I don't want to do it. I love that. But that kind of plays into what I was saying before, where I said we're going to put the kicks on the same spots as or the bass line on the same spot as where the kick is, or we could have the kick and the bass play with each other, as in like take turns playing. And now we have a bit of a mix of both, but I was trying to use that idea as a way to inspire the song, but now I really do like this idea. But maybe we can kind of use both. So this one would go here. That's right. Let's make these longer. Maybe not even that long. Oof. Oof. Dude, this is... I like this. I like this. All right, let's play on this page now. Is it here? And then microtimed forward one? I think so. Let's find out. Let's do 6. Nope. When is that happening? Oh, it's dead. Damn. Still sounds cool though. Just copy this and go here. We'll play with the notes. Might just be right here. And then microtime back one. That would make sense. Here we go. What? What's wrong with me? It would just be right on the 8, right? Yeah. Okay. That's what I kind of hear. Just kidding. That's when a shaker would come in or something. We could do that. Should we see what it like sounds like with a shaker? Tricked ya. Shaker, shaker, shaker. Oh, that one sounds like it would sound pretty good. That's not right. That's my shaker. Now, it's a little intense. I was seeing if my compressor was turned on. I thought maybe the compressor was making that shaker like really strong. If you highlight right here and go function yes, it skips you straight over here to picking a new sound. There we go, that's easy. Instead of doing it this way, let's switch machines to a warp machine or a repitch machine. Put a trigger down and have it go for 16 steps. And then let's use the a shaker loop. There we go. Now we can see what I was messing with this idea. Wait, why is that still playing? Oops. Yeah, well, that's what I want that to do. Whoops. But if we take this chords and like kind of pan the start positions around like each one just a little bit, just to give it some more stereo goodness. Just copy the pages, paste, paste, paste. Now we should have a little bit more stereo width on our chord movements we have going on. It's just like something with that bass line, right? This organ, that M1 organ patch in the Neo, sounds really good. This is a good one. We don't need any of those effects though, do we? Copy, paste, delete, trigger length, 16 steps. Turn this volume down a little bit. Hang on a second. Why is that not in time? Let's see. Where's the arpeggiator section? Clock external MIDI. Oh, right. This isn't even sending any clock. Okay. Oh, yeah. There we go. We got it. We got it working, folks. Seems like I turned this delay back on. I think that'll do. Let's sample that. All right, I want to sample for how long? Seems like it... Maybe we want to get 2 pages then. Let's go 2 pages. On this one, we'll change some of the notes. Get out of here. Cool. Maybe we should spread it out a little bit further. Let's go like this. Put this one here. And we'll have it go for 32 steps. And we'll have this one also go for 32 steps. And we'll sample 64 steps. Okay, this is going to turn into really good sample fodder. And I already know it's going to. So let's get 64 steps. I'm using the quantized recorder in the DIgitakt. This is one of the reasons why I love this sampler. It's so good. Press yes, and let's grab it. Oh, we want to get our source correct. We want the in mains. Or not the mains. I want internal left and right. Let's check it out. Sounds really phasey, and that's because of all the delay on here. Let's kill the delay. Maybe it'll sound better. That's much better. Still got a little phasiness from it, but I think it'll sound good once we slow it down. So let's save it. And we'll call it Arp Neo. I believe we're working in G minor, but I might have changed that on accident already. Arp Neo 2 chords. Save it, and what tracks am I using? I guess we could put it on 5, because I don't think I have anything on 5. We'll put it on 4 just to be safe, because I don't remember. Okay. Did I have anything here? Ah, smart. Okay. And I did have something on 5. Okay, smart. I win. I win the game. Okay, let's put it into a machine of sorts. Like, let's try a repitch machine, because that'll just do it immediately, right? We can stretch it across 8 bars. That's what I'm talking about. That is so cool sounding. Filter it too. We could use a different kind of filter. We could use an EQ. Low pass is always a win, right? Okay. Let's... Right. If I use the repitch machine, that's not going to do me any good. Let's try the warp. That's pretty cool sounding. Let's Let's make that go for 32 steps. Copy. And then here, we'll paste it again. And I don't know, we'll see what happens. Now I gotta mute this. Guess I could just have it go for its full 64 steps. I love that. Let's just hear this thing by itself right now. That's sick. What? Give me that. Let's have like an LFO do that for me. This compressor. Might be a little bit too much. actually sounds kind of nice, like... Maybe if it just, like, comes in and fades out every once in a while? Let's try that. Lots of experimenting for us to do here with this arpeggio. We could try the half speed. Oh, that sounds pretty cool, too. So many beautiful sounds from the arpeggios. Let's try a different machine. Let's try a slice machine. We do have a quantized arpeggio. Only has a couple different changes in it, but it'll work. Let's go to the keyboard. Let's get this down. Okay, set this to... Only a couple of different pitches will actually keep the timing right with this. That's pretty cool. We could try just do like some random stuff. Have it randomly put the positions in. Yes. Random locks. Bit much. I don't know. I honestly don't. It's maybe too busy for this track, because this track sounds really nice, just like with what we got now. I feel like a lead is where it needs to be, but I wanted to show off the idea of sampling an arpeggio, so I had to do it. But I don't know if it's appropriate for the track, to be honest. This sounds very nice. want this to Yeah, I think if I use this very sparingly, if I use this arpeggio just very, very, very sparingly, not with these really long lengths, just like, yeah, little things like that, I think we can get away with using it. Okay, nope. Get out of this slice machine. Try reversing it too. Just have this kind of gently just like background glitter. Background glitter. It's a technical term. Alright, let's see how it sounds when we try and play the music. So here? Yeah. No, not one of those. I feel like bass needs to come in with the kick. Let's see if we can do that. to add some more effects to it. Is it this? Oh, it's the jigger. I think this right here. I don't know if you can hear that. That is the best sounding part of that arpeggio. I think I need to just copy that and change the start positions. And that'll be nice. Whew, that's a nice one. Yeah. Right now we have this this Mogi sounding bass from a Syntakt. Pellegrino, would you like to be my sponsor? I can do this all day. I can hold this for a really long time if you want to sponsor me. I drink a lot of you. Okay, we have this Mogi bass thing going on the Syntakt. Oh, precious nectar. The bubbles. What is it about carbonation? It's probably not good for me. It's got to be bad for me. But it's got a bit of a Moog sound to it. Isn't it interesting how... I find it kind of interesting that you can emulate the sound of a synthesizer after it's gone through a filter by using a waveform that looks like the waveform post-filter. Isn't that interesting? I just find it so interesting that you can kind of almost emulate the sound of a synth. I mean, you can't get... You're going to generate probably more harmonic information, like it's going to be a bigger sound using that waveform, but you'll have the general timbre if you use the shape of the waveform post-filter, which is cool. So this has kind of a Moog sound, even though this is not a ladder filter. This is, I don't even know what the filter is in the Syntakt. 24 dB low-pass filter of some sort. I'm pretty sure it's the same filter they used in their Rhythm, which is much better at making drum sounds than it is at synth sounds. But it still sounds cool. I have a delay on that? Right now I'm using the dual VCO for this one. You can see here. Let's go function yes. And reverse this one. That's not going to do anything. We need a different hat right there. I like that sound. I don't think that works for this, but I'm going to use it every once in a while here. Last part, I think we should add some swing. So let's get some swing going. We got to swing it on all the machines. So swing here. Let's try like 56. Swing here. I think this will be a nice addition. Track trig edit, swing, function, turn the level encoder, swing all. All triggers. Definitely helped the hats. Might have made something a little bit more. Wait, what? Did you say at least I could screw the bottle? What does that mean? I am fearless. I got a lot of experience with sparkling water. I tell you what, there's a cap on it. Look, it's capped. Where's the danger? Where is the danger here? Good vibe this tune? You're right, Nestle is the devil, and they do own most of the water brands. The bottle is closed. It is closed. You're paranoid. Well, you're not paranoid. You're being smart, but the bottle is closed. Yes, Nestle is the devil, you're right. But I don't think they own Pellegrino. Nestle is actually located here in Washington. I used to drive my motorcycle by the Nestle factory, and we would all just curse its name and throw our plastic back at them. How hard would it be to get something? Damn it, get out of here. stupid, but it's fun. Wait. Hold on. Okay. What is that? Oh. Oh. Was it right there? Oh. I want to hear it again right there. Wait a second. Let's try that over here. I just like, do I want it right there? Is that where I really actually want the trigger? Let's just find out. Maybe that's where maybe that is what I want. Is it not? What the hell? Oh, whoa, 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 that's why. Was it cooler before when I had it here? Is that cool? Maybe that could be cool like that on this one. Don't know if I like that. Might be the ring mod that's like... Oof. That's really fat sounding. What is my favorite feature on the DIgitakt? I would have to say the sequencer. My favorite feature on the DIgitakt, the reason why I love the DIgitakt so much is because it has the Elektron sequencer. And the Elektron sequencer lets you program on a per step basis up to 16 different parameters per step. So the best way I think to look at the Elektron workflow is a horizontal tracker, right? So they're based off of a tracker workflow originally. At least I believe that's how it was originally intended to be. Because trackers were kind of like what was happening at the time that these boxes were coming out to, or that could do something similar to what these boxes did. So I'm sure it's directly inspired by trackers. But the workflow is essentially the same. These boxes are a tracker workflow. The only thing about this is that we only get to see one track at a time, which kind of helps you work on a singular track and kind of like, that's part of the experience. But my favorite feature of the DIgitakt is a sampler that has the digi line of sequencing, the 16 parameter locks, the part per pattern, the LFO to start position, the modulation from one LFO to another LFO. That's really powerful. The LFO itself, the way the LFO functions, that you can move the phase of your LFO. Like, this is awesome. There's a demonstration of what the phase does. These are the things I love about it. But also, I like that they have great sounding effects in these boxes, a really great delay, a really great reverb. This is something I was talking about last time I was streaming with the M8. And one of the things I was mentioning, and because the M8 is like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, is one of my favorite all-time devices. You know, it really is. It's up there as like one of the all-time best. But it is a but, because there is one negative that I have when I compare it to these boxes, and that is the reverb on the DIgitakt and these boxes is got so many delays in the reverb that when you turn up the reverb on a percussive hit, you don't hear any delays. You just hear a reverb. You just hear a smearing. And that's one of the things I love about the DIgitakt. It has this amazing reverb. It has this amazing delay. And it lets you tweak the reverb and the delay to your liking, which you can do on many other boxes, including the M8 and other trackers. But it has the best sounding reverb, I think, of the Groovebox line. But actually, talking about really good sounding reverbs and delays, the Polyend Play and the Polyend Mini Tracker and the Polyend Tracker, but the Mini Tracker, I think probably even more so, have really great sounding delays. They have really great sounding reverbs and delays. And they are fantastic samplers as well. And I keep being like drawn to play with my Poly and play, partly because I can always see it. It's where it's sitting in the studio. Is like, it's like, come play with me. Hence the name, I imagine. But I really do like that machine. I do get a little frustrated with it sometimes because I'm so ingrained in the tracker workflow, and it's so far from a tracker workflow. It's its own thing entirely, but it's got a really great sound. So in terms of just boxes that sound really good, I'd say like those boxes, the Polyend boxes, also sound really good, like the DIgitakt does. Random grain it. Can do. Or can't do. Can and can't do. Can and won't do. We've, like, for the amount of time that we've spent on here, we did a lot of talking, and I like, this is what happens when I'm doing my music workflow. Like, we're only on pattern 1. But because the idea in the Elektron workflow, and I know we're making something I don't usually make. The idea is that you make a really, really good first pattern, and then you move to the next pattern, you copy, paste, and you flesh out the next pattern. That's the Elektron workflow. I still feel like we got this nice kind of mogy sound coming out of the Syntakt. I think I just got lucky with these settings, because it sounds really mogy. The thing is about this filter, if you give it any resonance at all, we're going to lose that mogy sound immediately. I'll let go function yes and show you. Sounds cool though. We're at 22 of, like, how much resonance can we give it? 127? This filter is so resonant, it's insane. I wish this was a little sharper sounding. I don't think that's the way to go. All right, I think I want like some sort of like string synth sound now. We have this, which we were playing with before. I have this. this play like. Kind of a nice, we got a nice vibe going on. Dude, let's add a 303 to this. Let's go. You gotta put your track level down to 0, otherwise it triggers the accent. And then we want to send 102 so we get slides. And then turn this on. Let's just go to like 5 steps. Coming in over here. Okay, check us out. So now if we go copy, 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 paste. Oh no, we want to go somewhere. We're going to take this somewhere else entirely. Let's go to a new bank. Bank 3, pattern 1. We'll go paste, paste, paste. And we'll go here and go paste, paste, paste. So now we can use this arpeggiation as the end of our track to segue into the next pattern, which will give ourselves like a nice straight beat and start getting into some dancey vibes. Just bring this down to 64 steps for now. And we'll go like this. That's not gonna fly. All right. Flatten the high note in the arp. Flatten it? I guess we could try that. That was a good idea. Nice work. All right, here's the idea. We still have a lot of work to do, but this is the main idea, and this is why I love coming back to the beginning. This is why I love samplers. This whole idea was inspired by a chord progression and an arpeggio, sampled in here and then just destroyed by the DIgitakt. And we have found all these sweet little moments that we've used to make this music so far. And I don't always make this kind of music. I just love to whatever gets the sample inspired the movements on the sequencers and synthesizer. I just picked a BPM and threw some shuffle on it. So let's get that out of here. We can kind of work our way into like how this track would work in like a live setting. Do it. Shaker is the best part. Then we can kind of like work our way down. we have our intro, and all we had to do was build one solid pattern that sounded at least decent to work ourselves into this dancey electro house track now. I love that. This is why I love making music on these boxes. Like, this didn't take long. That was a good call on flattening that high note. I'm glad you were there to tell me to do that. Change this out now. Let's get that out of there, you're right. Send this through the effects block. That sounded insane. We duck the 303. I kind of like it just playing free. to not hit the peak. It's not going anywhere, but sounds cool. We do that from this track. So this is the performance mixer. Check this out. This is what makes the performance templates that I have in the Octatrack right now. This is what makes them so fun. It's just from moving from part to part like this and actually having some really powerful energy build. So if we work our way into this track, whoops. We want to have these sounds muted, right? And then we can go into like this big build. That's a pretty low energy build compared to like some of the other ones. There we go, here's a really big one. Let's try this one. So we bring like the kick out and go like... Yeah. One shot. Let's grab 4 bars of that. There we go. I think if I work on this for a couple hours, which I won't force you to listen to, I could really flesh it out. I thought it was YouTube, but chord killed the beat. It was probably me. I probably killed the beat. I'm just kind of messing about. All right, we got to do something real quick, so bear with me. Let's pay homage to our great sponsors. Sponsor lords. We love our sponsor because they do these lovely things for us here. So let's check it out. We're going to talk about DistroKid, of course. DistroKid is our lovely sponsor here, and let's just talk about this real fast. DistroKid is an online distribution platform for getting your music out to different streaming platforms and also for just publishing your music, but not just for streaming it, so people can buy your music. You can also link it into iTunes and Tidal and Spotify and every single service you can think of. They'll do it for you instantaneously. It takes a couple of weeks for it to fully process, but it happens really quickly. It's very affordable. It's a great deal. If you're looking to get your music out there so other folks can listen to it easily, DistroKid's probably the cheapest, fastest route to do that. But what I want to talk about today is hyperfollow. And this is something, it's kind of like a hyperlink that DistroKid helps you make very quickly. And they'll have you can create these cool little graphics that you can embed in web pages or in YouTube videos or on Instagram and stuff. And if we take a look at what they look like, if I click on this here, it creates this cool little hyperfollow page for you, so people can click on it and they can get a preview of your music and they can say, oh, I know that this album is on these streaming platforms, so I can listen to it on Spotify or Deezer, but I can also just listen to a preview of it, and there's all the tracks from the album on there. It generates a little waveform. It's nice and easy. So if you want to share your tracks, it has a professional way of presenting that to listeners so that you look like a really well put together artist. And I think that's great. And this is just one of the, this is a free attribute that you'll find in DistroKid. So thank you, DistroKid. And check it out. If you'd like, there is a link to get a small discount to your very, very cheap subscription to DistroKid in the video below. Otherwise, you probably already have DistroKid, and I'm just reminding you that you have it. Am I right? Or am I wrong? I think most of us do have it. I mean, it's the only one I've ever used. I don't even, what are the other ones? TuneCore? We don't trust them anymore. How's everybody doing? What's up, chat? Circo, how's it going? Circo's coming up to play at Monkey Loft at the Shameless event with me next month, Memorial Day. Should be a really good time. Also, several other artists. There is a show this month. I forgot to even to mention this so far. Check this out. Bam! Modbang, of course. This is a show that I put on every month. This month we have DJ Weak Acid, Jay Hosking, Som Shankar, and me. I'm going to be playing. I don't play them very often anymore, but this month I've played two. Or this year I've played two of these events that I put on sometimes more than once a month. Like next month, I'll be putting two of them on. But this month, come and see DJ Weak Acid, Jay Hosking, and Som Shankar here in Seattle. Jay Hosking's coming up from Canada to play the show. This is the second time Jay's come up to play. Som is coming up from Oregon. These are awesome, awesome live hardware artists because the rules for Modbang is hardware only. So yeah, come and check it out. This flyer was made by Blake's, same person who made the performance template stickers, which I have turned into magnets, but I don't have them for sale yet. So if you're interested in getting magnets, I'll have that up the next couple of weeks. And visuals by Ben Alcaraz and Magic Eye, which isn't on here on the sheet, but that's okay. But they are doing visuals, and it's going to be a really great show. Jay and Som and DJ Weak Acid are really, really great artists. DJ is going to be doing some really cool tunes using the Machine Plus. The only person I've seen play a Modbang show with the Machine Plus does a really great job. It's this like sampling workflow. It sounds so good. The Machine Plus is a really great sounding device. Jay, I think, is going to be using a Push 3 and some other external hardware, but maybe playing with his Octatrack. I'm not sure. It's one of those two. Som is playing with a plethora of gear, including an Octatrack and a bassbot and just several instruments. He brings a huge case, and it's a big production for Som. And then I, of course, play with exactly what you're seeing on the table, and maybe I'll even play the track that we wrote today. I love being able to put these shows on and staying connected with the hardware scene. It's really important to me, and it's my favorite thing in the world. I love live hardware electronic music, but one of the things I really love about being like exclusive to this hardware thing for these events is it kind of puts everybody on this same playing field where we all have to like learn these machines and demonstrate our ability to program them and perform with them in a live setting. And it's a real, I don't know, it's a real testament to your skill and how much energy you've been willing to put into learning your machines. I just think it's awesome. It's like a battleground, you know? Like we're not facing off against each other. We're facing off against ourselves to see like how much we can push ourselves for the next show and for our performances, because it's a very friendly environment. Everybody's so inclusive and kind and loving and full of compliments and sharing their ideas and their workflows, and it's a great place to meet people. So if you come out and check it out, it's a really good time. But I really do feel like it is like this proving ground to go and play like these live hardware shows where you're like, all right, I've got like, you know, you put your armor on basically, and it's just like, it's your gear. And you're like, I'm going to go out and battle. I'm going to show off my skill set and how well I can program these machines. And I really love that. And that's a little bit different from, I think, playing like a pre-produced song. Like, and they're completely different workflows and different ideas. But like, say you have like an already fully functioning, fleshed out song. It's been recorded and you're playing with some DJ effects. That's one thing. But that's more, I don't know, you're more like sharing the music that you wrote and you're going to help perform that music. On the hardware side, it feels like you're showing off this skill with these devices on an individual basis. It's like, how well can you program a DIgitakt? How well can you use an Octatrack? How well can you use, you know, a 404 or a 303? Can you program cool 303 lines? Like stuff like that. And I just think it's fun. It's fun to find a place for that and have a space to exercise your abilities. That's what I love about it, honestly. You know, because everybody is having to squeeze through a mixer with their hardware into the house speakers, and it is in stereo. Fortunately, it's not club stuff. Like it is a fully stereo system with subs and everything. It sounds really nice, but I don't know. I just really love that idea. It reminds me of playing in bands. That's kind of why I have the rule of no computers, is because I wanted it to feel like we're still playing guitars and like we're still have these bandmates and our bandmates are these machines. Those are my thoughts on that. Those are my thoughts on that. Man. Yeah, Blake's, thanks for, yeah. And we love you too. We do. Ah, Danny Toba, good question. No computers allowed, but push 3 is not, is it? Push 3 is allowed, and I'll tell you why the push 3 is allowed. The push 3 is allowed because the push 3 is not Ableton. And if it was Ableton, we would have a lot more push 3 users. We really would, but we don't. We don't have that many push 3 users. You don't see many push 3 people coming through. You don't even see that many people using push 3s on YouTube. Because it's really hard to play live with it. Like, it's a tougher machine to use, like without programming a bunch of external MIDI devices, and then you have to know Ableton, and you have to know how to use the push 3. So, I don't know. I consider it a hardware piece of kit, because that is what it is. It doesn't have a mouse and keyboard, and it doesn't have Windows operating system or Mac OS on it, so it gets a pass. I did struggle with that idea where at first I was like, can I allow push 3s? But I have been. They're fine, I think. They do sound really good, and it does kind of, because it has like multi-band compressors on it and stuff like that, and dynamic EQs. Those things don't exist in our regular hardware setup, so I do feel like the push 3 people kind of get this, like, they get a nicer, more finished sound than everyone else, and I do feel like that's not as fair, because we don't get to, like, where am I going to have a multi-band compressor without buying a hardware multi-band compressor and running it through here, running my whole mix through it? But you can do that on a push 3, so that's like a push 3 advantage. But I still think it's fair. It's still like, how well can you program a push 3? and or how well can you program in Ableton and then bring it over to push 3, because you still have to play in session view, so you're still getting chopped down into those momentary segments, those snapshots of your arranger, because you're not just playing the arrangement, because you can't. That's not how push 3 works. So I do think it's fair, but it is a good point. It has Linux on it, but you can't use it. Like, you can't plug a mouse and keyboard and use it. But I do know that they wrote Ableton in Linux just for the push 3, which is why the push 3 has taken so long for them to develop stuff on it, because it's like Linux Ableton, which isn't usually a thing. Tons of paging. Yeah, there's a lot of paging. You have to pre-program everything. It gets brought up a lot in these streams. We talk about the push 3 quite a bit. And for good reason, because it's cool. Like, when it first came out, I really thought it was going to be like the end all be all of devices. I was like, all right, well, here it goes. Like, why would I use any of my Elektron gear anymore? There's a push 3. It's got Ableton. It's got every sound I could ever want. MPE devices, multiband compressors, all that kind of stuff. Then I got it, and I was like, oh my God. No, this is a streamlined performance experience. I have 8 encoders per device, a crossfader, performance scenes, live looping, easy setup for external sequencing. I just plug it in and change the MIDI channel and it just works. Everything about this is streamlined to me. I can have as many machines as I want. I can just, take a machine out, put another machine in. Really simple. I like that. So I think that this is where it's at. I think this is in my opinion, besides adding some modular to your setup, this is kind of like the most streamlined and effective way to play a live show. That's why I do it. I don't do it just because I like making Octatrack templates. Like, I do this because I think that this is the best, in my opinion. I can't think of a better way to do it. I do see other people play and they have amazing shows and they have their own workflow, but I always think that what I'm doing here, or how this is set up, is still faster. Other than maybe what Circo does in the chat, where you're using randomization with these kits that you have. And that's a different workflow entirely. But in terms of programming a song, I think that this is the most streamlined set of devices. A recent addition to things is this bass compressor, which I think sounds really nice. Has a high-pass filter on it. I feel like this clap is so weak. Sounds good, but I think I need another layer. Is there anything on 3? Could I still put a clap there? I like how it sounds, but I don't think it's the rights. There we go. I haven't been clipping during this stream. But yeah, I think this sounds nice. Here we go. If I just reuse this track, but just lower the probability of these notes. we got somewhere. I wouldn't say this is like some perfect track or anything. Let's go back to some music that I have finished.
You got nothing, nothing goes to.
Yeah. This is something this is a track I'm still working on that's not finished. Don't like that. Go out of here. Sounds good. So where this song ends up is this like crazy distorted thing, which I keep bringing up every stream, but I'm like, every time I work on this, I'm like, I just love how it sounds the way it is. I have a hard time adding to it or adjusting it. I love it. What else have I started on? Other project I started for a minute, I haven't returned to in a while. Oh yeah, we're on bank 3, that's why. This kick sounds so weak now. Maybe we need to use this kick. It's cool. It's fun. It's not my favorite thing ever. You know, we did what we did with this like poppy chord progression. I think if I keep working on it, it'll get there. I like things to be a little bit more dissonant than this is. It's a little too happy. It's cool. I prefer these darker music than that, but as I said in the beginning of the stream, I needed something to kind of like chill me out because I was like not in the best mood. Dealing with insurance companies. That was the problem. All right, folks. It's been over 2 hours. We played on a bunch of Elektron gear. We talked about why the DIgitakt is the best ever, and why samplers are the most important part of your studio, in my opinion. And I think that you should always prioritize having a sampler over anything else. And we made some music that turned out okay. Maybe you like it more than I do. Maybe you hate it. I don't know. And what else did we do? We had a good conversation. We did some sampling of the King Korg Neo, which is in vocoder mode. It's a cool sounding synth. It's really easy to program. It has like virtual patch cables, which is kind of unique and really easy to understand, as opposed to like that matrix view when you're trying to program a synthesizer. Like doing the mod matrix is always a pain in the butt, I think. even though it can be convenient once you get used to it. But this one's just really obvious. It's like just connect patch. It's kind of like working on the LFO on the DIgitakt. I do like that part. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. I will see y'all next week for another live stream, and we'll do something different. Maybe we'll play with some polyend gear and run it through the performance template or something like that. My name's Matthew, aka EZBOT. If you'd like to support these streams or get your hands on the performance templates, you can visit patreon.com/EZBOT. You can also visit coffee.com/EZBOT, which is where you can get the templates if you don't like to subscribe to people's Patreons. I love subscribing to people's Patreons. I'm subscribed to about 20 different Patreons. So a lot of the money that I make from being a Patreon creator goes directly back into other Patreon creators. And I love that. And I love that it just sends the money that people are sending me out to other creators. And so I've joined a lot of Patreons, and I like being a supporter there. So you're welcome to try that for yourself and see how that fits for you. But if you want to support this channel in another way, you can just leave a nice comment on these streams, share them with your parents or something, your grandparents, show them to your dog and cat and fish or whatever. And put a thumbs up on the video is really nice, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll be sure to catch you for another day of live streaming and more tutorial content and more obscure random topics for you to listen to me ramble on to by myself here in this studio. My name's Matthew, and I'll see y'all next week.